Hi again folks, how's everybody doing? I thought I'd do a wee update on my layout plans. Thanks very much to everyone who commented on my last video about this. Lots of useful ideas and observations, so thanks very much. I've been playing around with ideas in AnyRail, so I thought I'd let you see what I'm thinking now. Let's jump into AnyRail and have a look. So this is the layout that I showed you in my update video when I was talking about rebuilding the layout. Thanks very much to everyone who made comments to that video. Got lots of comments, lots of helpful suggestions and stuff, so cheers folks. Obviously this was just a kind of a first pass. This was just a first design, and I was kind of aware of some of the shortcomings of it. A lot of people pointed out having the removable section, the joins going through curved sections of the track, not a good idea. Yeah, I was well aware of that. Obviously, on a curved section of track, having cuts in the track, not ideal. It's not undoable. So I mean, I wouldn't entirely rule it out, but ideally you want your joins for a lift out section of track to go through straight sections. So I kind of think that I could maybe cut it through there and through there, but I decided to just kind of go back to the drawing board a wee bit and see what other ideas I could come up with. So let's have a look at revision 1. So pretty much the same layout, the main difference being this section here. I've cut this straight across and put the removable section in there, so that's much better. Sorted out some of the points, got some extra sidings in. Yeah, I quite like this layout because I've got a couple of holding sidings there. This siding would be for the engine shed, so the trains would be coming out into this loop in a clockwise direction, and I could then go into these sidings. Trains would come out of these sidings and go in an anti-clockwise direction around the outer loop. So I quite like this design actually, the more I think about it, and also I've got my end-to-end round there as well, and a couple of options for going round here, and a couple of passing loops there as well. So it's, yeah, I really like this layout, and it's given me plenty of operating space in the middle. A lot of people said this looked awful big. I really don't want to be hemmed in and have a tiny little operating area. It's very tempting, to really try and maximise your space. But I've got to think about walking about in here, cleaning the window, getting underneath to the storage shelves underneath and the wiring and all the rest of it. And bending down in a restricted space is not a good idea, especially as I'm getting older. So I want plenty of space to be able to move about. So I don't want to just box myself in a little square in the middle of the layout. So yeah, that's the first revision, and I think that works pretty well. But I decided to explore some other possibilities. So this is revision 2, and as you can see it's a bit different. So instead of coming down, I've cut across, and I've got my removable section there, and I'm using this space for extra sidings and a turntable. Still just got the two loops, some sidings here, and there, so my goods yard would be there, engine shed would probably be going in there. Yeah, that works, and I can see a lot of people would probably probably go for this one because of what I've got down here. It really just depends what you want to do in your layout, but I think for me personally, the problem with this one, with this design, is it's not really giving me much that much longer a running time. These loops are not significantly bigger than what I've currently got. So I'm a wee bit, that's not really what I want. I want to try and maximise the running time on my layout, and I think this just cuts it a wee bit too short, and it does restrict my operating space in there. And this all starts to get a little bit busy, but I think that's absolutely fine, but I don't think this is for me. Let's have a look at revision 3. So I wanted to see, could I get 3 train continuous running and my end-to-end, and that's how I would do it. This is using 4th, 3rd and 2nd radius curves down here, and I've tried to avoid, in all the designs I've tried to avoid any 1st radius curves. It's all 4th, 3rd and 2nd radius curves. So yeah, I mean, that works. I've got fewer sidings, but I would have 3 trains continuous running and my end to end. So that'd be 4 trains operating at once, and my removal sections there. So yeah, if I really, really wanted to have 4 trains operating at once, I think that shows how it could be done. And I'm not ruling this out at the moment, but I don't know. I'm just a bit. There's something to me is not quite right about having triple track like that. I mean, I know you do see it in reality, but in my part of the world, you very rarely see that. It's single or double. And I like the idea of just having a double track going round through a rural setting. As soon as you go into triple track, it's not as good for doing bridges, I don't think, and tunnels and stuff. It all gets just a little bit tricky to model and look right. And in my view, I mean, some people have quadruple track, and it's all absolutely fine. But for what I've got in my head, I think 3 tracks just looks a bit odd to me. So let's have a look at revision 4. So I've gone back to just 2 train continuous running, but you can see what I've done here is straighten that up. It's kind of tight here at the fireplace wall because the chimney wall comes out and then I've got the fireplace. So this is a bit tight, but I think it's doable. I maybe need to double check my measurements, but I'm pretty sure this is doable. Now I really like this because not only is it giving me the increased running time, it's giving me 3 good long straights in the layout. Normally, with an oval, certainly the ovals I've got just now, you've only got the 2 straights. But this is giving me 3. Through the station here, I'm going across there, and we've got all that as well. So that to me is a very attractive idea. Now it's all very simple down here. There's not much going on, but I have no problem with that because that allows me to model the scenery. I'm actually tempted not to do the tunnel. What I'd quite like to try and do is this section along here is to have like a big viaduct, make this like a big valley and have a viaduct going across here. I really like that idea, and not bother with the tunnel. A tunnel is obviously great to have, but the more I think about it, it's a lot of building and you've got to make sure it's either removable or you can get behind it, and because of the way this is, it would have to be removable. So I'm not sure. I'll see how I feel at the time, but at the moment I'm kind of thinking, no, this is just going to be a long straight coming across the removal section here. We'll go round the bend and across a big lovely viaduct and then round it into the station. This siding here would be for the engine shed. These would just be 2 holding sidings. It's got this passing loop here, and that route there can be used as a passing loop, so trains can be held in there, and there, and there, and there. So I can have lots of trains sitting on the layout and still just have the 2 trains operating along with a train going back and forward on the shuttle. And I've got plenty of room for scenery, roads, car parks, fields. I'm not overdoing it with the track, which to me is kind of happening if I went with the triple track. It takes up an awful lot of baseboard space. So at the moment, this is the layout I'm favouring. I really like the 3 big long straights. I like the fact that trains come out the engine shed siding into the inner loop in a clockwise direction. Trains can come out of these sidings here into the outer loop in an anti-clockwise direction. I've got my shuttle going back and forth. I'll have my 2 trains continuous running. I've got nice big operating space. I've got plenty of room in the landscape for building scenery, keeping it, especially along this area here, making it nice and rural looking, just fields, trees, walls, sheep and cows and stuff. And then in these areas here we can station and goods yard in here and stuff. So yeah, I'm really liking the idea of this layout, but I'll play around with it yet. I think I would still like to be able to get from these sidings directly onto this loop without having to go up here. Because that way, from this siding here or this siding, that could go back and forward on the shuttle. If this was separate, this is going to be the goods one. If I could make this completely separate, possibly put a diamond crossing in there actually, and have that maybe a curved point coming around connecting that, so from this siding I could go straight to the outside loop. I'll have an experiment with that, but I think if I can crack that, then yeah, I think I've got it. But you know, you could go on tweaking these forever, and I dare say when I come to build the thing it might change again, but at the moment that's the one I'm probably going for, or something along those lines anyway. But let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions and any other ideas, whatever you have. But there you go, that's where I am with the layout designs. So there we are, that's kind of where I am with this. At the moment I'm thinking of beginning work in January. Obviously this layout has to be demolished, which won't take too long. Not sure if I'll video that, but I'll certainly be making videos about building the new layout. How long it's going to take, I'm not too sure, because you know, building it so it's modular is going to add a fair bit of complexity, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, let me know what you think of my current layout plan, and leave a comment if you have any ideas, thoughts or whatever. Okay folks, catch you later.